Hello everyone, welcome back to the Flix Files. For this video, I thought I'd do something a little different and something maybe a little fun. I have always said on this channel that my favourite movie of all time is Alien, the 1979 horror science fiction film directed by Ridley Scott. And there are many things about that film that I like, and it's the reason that it's my all-time favourite movie out of the literally thousands of films I must have watched in my lifetime. That's the one. That is the one that if somebody said to me, if you were stranded on a desert island that had sort of a solar powered generated TV and a Blu-ray player, what is the one film that you would have with you on that desert island? And as daft as it sounds, being on a desert island watching Alien, but that is the movie that I would pick. I love it that much. And at some point on this channel, I will do a big video just about that movie. But I've always said I want to wait until I get a lot better at making videos. And maybe when my subscriber count is bigger and more people will see it. So at the moment, I'm steering well clear of doing a deep dive about Alien because I want to do it justice. It just means that much to me because I love it so much. And for this video, I want to talk about the one little part of this movie that I've never liked, that I always get annoyed with every single time I watch it. And it's a small, tiny part of this movie. And I need to say first that I love everything about this movie. I love its direction. I love its cast and the roles that they played in this movie and the acting. I love the production design and the sets and the construction of the sets. And I love the visual effects in this movie and the physical effects and all of the Giga designs and the way that they were brought to life by all the production designers. The music by Jerry Goldsmith, just superb. It all comes together beautifully. But there's one little tiny bit of it that's always annoyed me. And it's an edit. It's to do with what they call a jump cut. And the scene in question is a scene where one of the characters in the movie is called Ash, who we discover is a robot. And he gets his head knocked off by Parker in a fight. So when they discover he's a robot, he's kind of in bits, and they're trying to put him back together so they can interrogate him to find out how they may be able to kill the alien creature that's running around on the Nostromo at that point. And there's a scene where Ripley, Sigourney Weaver's character, is trying to put Ash back together on this table. She's trying to get him running, should we say, so she can speak to him. And she's working on his sort of disembodied head on this table. And there's a moment in the scene where we cut from a false head to Ian Holmes' real head. So the actor at some point would have been sticking his head through a hole in the table, and they would have put the makeup around his neck to make it look like his head was loose. And at that point, they start talking to him. And what's annoying about it is they don't use what's called a cutaway. So they kind of keep the camera focused on the false head. And then there's a very obvious jump cut to the real head. And it's so bizarrely in your face and obvious that that's what it is. And I've always found it incredibly frustrating to watch that moment. And even in commentaries, I've watched the commentary of this movie with Ridley Scott's commentary. And when it gets to that moment, he actually describes it as not a bad cut. as we go to the real head is what he actually says.
Not a bad cut between a head that's not bad.
And I often want to shout at the television, what do you mean, Ridley? It's awful. It's the one tiny part of this movie that drives me insane every time I watch it. So I thought, well, maybe I could try correcting it. Maybe I could try re-editing that scene and getting rid of that jump cut, because all we would need to do is have Ripley working on the false head, cut away to one of the other crew members' reactions, and then cut back to the real head. So we no longer have that horrible jarring jump cut. So that's what I've tried to do. And the trick was to try and find a moment that I could use to fit in as a cutaway. And that was the tricky part, because they're all in a specific room and they're all facing in a certain direction. And there are a few moments that I could have used where we see Parker and Lambert watching Ripley as she's trying to repair this head. But the shots involve one of the characters speaking. And if I omitted the part where they're speaking, so they're just looking, it would amount to, say, half a second, and it would be such a quick cut, it would be useless. So in the end, I thought of another part of the film that involves Lambert, where she sat staring. And I thought, if I use that shot, but then mirror it horizontally, so she's facing the other way, and then use that as the insert, maybe that would work as a cutaway. So that's what I've done. That's kind of my way of rectifying there's one little bit that's always annoyed me. And obviously I can't put that back onto the 4K and sort of retro change the movie. And I really wouldn't want to do that. It was just entirely for my own curiosity, just to see how it could have been if Terry Rawlings, when he was editing this movie, just put a little bit more care into that moment. So I'm going to show you this scene in its entirety with the jump cut, and then I will show you my version, and you can let me know in the comments which version you think is best. So let's do that now. So there we are. That's my attempt at trying to rectify that one tiny little part of Alien that I've never been a fan of. Ridiculous, I know, but it's just a bit of fun, and I thought it would make for an interesting video. So there you go. That's a nice quick video for today, for Tuesday. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you on the next one, guys. So bye for now.